So remember, call Mr. Plow. That's my name. That name again is Mr. Plow.
If someone asked you to name the most iconic cartoon dad, Homer Simpson would likely be at the top of your list. For over 30 years, Homer has been a household name, representing everything from a typical American father to the absurdity of modern life. But is Homer Simpson truly a well-rounded character, or has he devolved into a shallow caricature of his former self? I am Brent Caughman, and today we're exploring the rise and fall of Homer Simpson. When The Simpsons debuted in 1989, Homer was a groundbreaking character.
Relax. What is mind? No matter. What is matter? Never mind.
He wasn't the perfect dad, far from it, but that was the point. Unlike the idealized father figures of TV shows like The Brady Bunch or Leave It to Beaver, Homer was flawed, relatable, and hilariously imperfect. He struggled to balance work, family, and his own desires, usually sneaking off to moes to down a few duffs.
Sure. Here you go. Doof. From Sweden.
Wait a minute, this is Duff!
Embodying the struggles of the average working class man. Early episodes portrayed Homer as a caring, if bumbling father. He worked tirelessly at the Springfield nuclear power plant to provide for his family, often sacrificing his own happiness. Episodes like Homer's Night Out and Life on the Fast Lane highlighted his love for Marge and his efforts to mend mistakes. Homer's flaws, his impulsiveness, laziness, and occasional selfishness were balanced by moments of sincerity and growth. This made him a complex and engaging character. At his core, Homer represented the middle-class everyman. He was neither a hero nor a villain, just a typical American man trying to navigate life. But as the show progressed, something changed. By the mid-1990s, Homer's character began to shift. The traits that once made him relatable were exaggerated to the point of absurdity.
Who the devil are you?
Don't panic, just come up with a good story. My name is Mr. Burns.
Instead of a lovable buffoon, he became downright unintelligent. Episodes like Homer Goes to College depicted him as utterly incapable of functioning in the real world, a far cry from the man who once fixed relationships and showed genuine care for his family. The humor began to focus more on his stupidity than his struggles, and his actions became increasingly unrealistic.
Woohoo! Look at that blubber fly!
For instance, in The Principal and the Pauper, the episode revolves around Skinner being a fraud and is actually named Armin Tamzarian. Homer's antics overshadowed the plot, emphasizing his obliviousness rather than his personality. This shift marked the beginning of what fans and critics call the Flanderization of Homer, a term referring to the process where a character's traits are exaggerated to the point of absurdity. Homer's once grounded character became a caricature. He was no longer the everyman struggling with relatable problems, but a punchline for jokes about idiocy. While this shift may have been intended to heighten the show's comedic appeal, it alienated viewers who once resonated with the character. As The Simpsons entered its later seasons, Homer's character continued to deteriorate. This was at the same time that Family Guy became popular, and many seen this shift to make Homer more like Peter Griffin. He transformed from a lovable idiot into an outright oaf. His selfishness grew, and his moments of emotional sincerity all but disappeared. But for the odd Marge-centric episode that would always end in a snuggle.
Marge.
Instead of being a flawed but redeemable father, he became a man-child incapable of basic empathy. Episodes like Homer vs. Dignity epitomize this decline. In this episode, Homer's willingness to humiliate himself for money, including performing degrading acts, is played for laughs but lacks any emotional depth, resulting in what many believe to be the worst Simpsons scene.
And a ping-ping. With any luck, folks, these two will become very... Look, she's presenting. We thought this would take years to happen. Ping Ping just asked Sim Sim to marry him, and I think she just said yes.
Similarly, in Saddle Sore Galactica, his behavior is so over the top and nonsensical that it undermines the grounded storytelling that made the earlier seasons so beloved. This transformation wasn't just a disservice to Homer, but to the show as a whole. His decline mirrored a broader trend in The Simpsons, a move away from character-driven stories to absurdist humor. While this approach worked in isolated cases, it is believed to have played part in the downfall of The Simpsons' popularity.
Oh, there's less of you to love, but I love you even more. Nah, what was that?
Your other hand.
Despite his character's decline, Homer Simpson remains a cultural icon. His catchphrases and are ingrained in popular culture. He's been the subject of countless memes, parodies, and academic studies. Homer's impact extends far beyond the show itself. Homer represents more than just a character. He's a mirror of societal changes. In the early years, his struggles reflected the challenges of the average working-class family. As the show became more exaggerated, Homer's absurdity mirrored the increasing chaos and unpredictability of modern life. This evolution, while criticized, also speaks to the show's adaptability. Moreover, Homer's flaws make him a symbol of humanity's imperfections. He's selfish, lazy, and often clueless, but he also loves his family and tries, albeit poorly, to do right by them. This duality is why Homer remains a compelling F.